Still Poddable in the playoffs. Still Poddable in the playoffs. Right. Gotta get that ring in the playoffs. Still Poddable in the playoffs. Still Poddable. The Boston Celtics still Poddable. Still Poddable. Atlanta 18.
Playoffs beat the Heat, you gotta know. Let's go Celtics, let's go. Yeah, motherfucking Celtics, let's go.
Welcome back to Still Poddable. This is a Gods and Legends podcast. I am Sam J.M. Packard, joined by Brian B. Rob from MassLive.com. And we have two very special guests, also from MassLive.com, Souichi Terada. I hope I said your last name right. And from NBC Sports Boston, Abby Chin, both returning guests, but we're very excited to have you guys back on the playoff edition of Still Poddable. I'm still riding high off of Game 5, off of just the energy that Al Horford provided all of Celtics fans. Abby, I guess we'll start with you. We've seen a lot of moments of Al Horford being kind of emotional on the court, but he usually has like one flex or like goes to the crowd and like does one like let's go. This we saw basically the final three quarters. It was just like Al Horford, the most animated I've ever seen him. Is this just kind of what got into Al Horford? I'm trying to figure it out.
That was incredible. I know. And I want whatever he was having, whatever he had for breakfast, whatever he did that day, I would like to know because I would like to do that in my regular life. He's 2 weeks away from being 38 years old. And you're right, Sam. When you were talking, that made me think of the monster block that he had in Milwaukee against the Bucks and just how hyped he got in that series. And you're right, that was one moment. This last game was an entire 3/4 of moments from Al Horford. And the fact that he was in that huddle in the first quarter and just decided we're not bringing enough energy. Let me do this, guys. I got this. I'll put you on my back once again, and carried it through the entire game. Put up a line that no one has ever done at whatever age it is. It was incredible. It was awesome to watch. And it was just, it was so necessary too, which is crazy about it. But it was so fun to watch.
I think he said in the post game, Gary asked him, like, did you wake up feeling good? And he's like, nah, I just kind of woke up.
Okay. Yeah, we talked to him at shoot around and it just felt like a normal day. So it's cool to see that he still has that inside him as a fellow old person. I'm not sure I have that inside me. So it's good to know. Sometimes you can reach really deep. And the thing, I'm just hopeful that he has more of those as we continue on here. The Celtics on to the Eastern Conference Final.
Souichi, it felt like that was like the first time we actually experienced a playoff game in this entire playoff. Maybe it was just like Al Horford needed to bring the emotional intensity. But he talked about it after the game about how like he was not going to let this happen. The team needed to grow. The team needed to not have these letdown games. I guess, is it a bad thing that they need like Al Horford just to go crazy for them to show up on playoff games? How should Celtics fans be feeling about this team after two pretty easy series victories?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing just because at least you have that in Al, right? Like it has to come from somewhere. And it being, soon to be 38-year-old Al Horford is, maybe the critics will be like, oh, why can't Jason or Jalen do this? But it's like, it's fine. That's just how teams work. You have different guys for different roles. Like, let it be. And I agree with you. Like, I actually think game 1 of the Heat series was a little bit of buzz just because like first game of the playoffs, you get the Heat. Sure, blah, 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 no Jimmy, everything like that. But I thought there was a little bit of buzz. But I do agree that it's been like the playoff crowds have been kind of very regular season-esque. I don't want to put it all on the fans, though. I feel like the Celtics themselves have kind of played, a little regular season-esque. I think Al said it last night, right? Like he thought their energy wasn't good enough after the first quarter. They were tied 28-28, I believe. And then all of a sudden, that's when he goes berserk for the last 3 quarters. So, but man, this Al is just, I'm so impressed with him just because like at his age to be able to do what he does, like every time he steps up, like I'm just like, this is not normal. Like I think people look at like what LeBron is doing and they're like, oh, like, obviously with modern medicine and everything, like you can't do this, but like this is not like the norm. And I have so much respect for guys like Al who have had such long NBA careers, reinvented themselves, and can still contribute in the playoffs. And you saw Marcus Morris do crazy things last night too. So it was a good time for the 1980s last night.
It's
80s babies.
come
Is
on,
that
come
what
on,
you're trying to say?
Souichi. It's ridiculous. It's
I'm
ridiculous.
not an 80s baby. I never experienced the 1980s. I just want to put it out there.
Me too.
Born
For the
in
record.
February 1990. Souichi, you're like 24 years old. We know
Yeah,
that. We know that was
That's the
We know.
baby of this show.
Well aware.
Yeah, but it's funny. You make a good point, Souichi. I think in terms of like the fans. I wonder if like Celtics fans in this path, like in terms of the crowds, have they just been like, are they too smart now, knowing like, okay, these are they should be these series. Like everyone's getting hurt in the Heat, the Cavs. Like we should be bringing it in, walking into this Eastern Conference Finals somewhat. Or is it the fact that they are again responding to what they see on the floor here, which energy-wise just wasn't where it was, where Al Horford is picking up all their $35 and $40 million per year players in a game they need them.
Yeah,
I think you could feel the tightness. I think you could feel the fans tight in game twos of these series. Like as soon as something started to snowball, everyone was like, "Oh God, it's happening again! Oh God, what? Like, what is happening?" I definitely feel. Sorry, I cut you off, Souichi. I know you can.
No,
go.
I agree. Please keep spinning.
Normal conversations, the way they go. But I also think that you're totally right, B-Rob, and that the Celtics Nation knows what's going on. Like these are the games that they should be taking care of business in. And so you're totally right that I feel like it was about 3 minutes left in the first half that the fire that Al Horford was finally starting to catch on, and the fans were just getting excited for anything. It wasn't that it had to be a sustained run. It wasn't that it had to be that 1-3 that knocked it in. They were just excited, and they were getting excited about the ball movement and the Celtics making good plays on offense, being in the right position on defense, and it just carried through the entire second half. And it is. I remember looking around and being like, oh, yeah, this is what it's like inside TD Garden in these moments. And it's freaking awesome. There is no place better in the world. And it was – I couldn't stop smiling. I was so excited.
Still Poddable, Still Poddable. Boston Celtics, Still Poddable.